السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اسمي ماك، أنا رجل بريطاني وإنجليزي أصلا، وما ولدت مسلما، بل ولدت مسيحيا أو نصرانيا، والحمد لله أنا أسلمت. وبعد أن أسلمت قررت أن أتعلم اللغة العربية الفصحى، والحمد لله بالرغم من أنني لم أسافر إلى أي بلد آخر، تعلمت هذه اللغة عبر الشبكة الدولية عن بعد، والآن الحمد لله أنا أعلم هذه اللغة عبر الإنترنت. وسألني في مجتمعي في سكول اليوم طالب لي، هو سألني عن حفظ المفردات والعبارات والكلمات الجديدة، وفي هذا الفيديو توجد نصيحتي عن هذا الموضوع، وأرجو أنكم تستفيدون من هذه النصيحة. والسلام عليكم. In regards to your question about like, okay, you know, at what point will you start understanding? So in this verse that I want to play, that he recites, mashallah, so nicely, there is there is one word. I've listened to this video many times because I like to imitate the way he's reciting, right? So there's one word that in there that I don't know, that I didn't know what it meant, but everything else is very easy to understand if you've studied Arabic for like a short period of time. So then that one word, if when I looked it up, it was super, super interesting. But then once you go through that process of looking up that one word, like I reckon when you hear that in the future, things will start to click a lot better. Okay, so how much of that verse would you say you understood?
I think maybe all apart from the last word.
Okay, so let's say let's go through it. So A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I'll bring it up. But if I just recite
Maybe
it. يا أيها الناس اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم. What did you understand from that?
O people, mankind,
اذكروا نعمة
Uzkuru,
الله
remember the blessing of God,
عليكم.
Allah, upon you, upon all of you.
نعم. هل من خالق غير الله يرزقكم من السماء والأرض.
Again.
هل من خالق
Hal min khalikin. Hal min khalikin.
Okay, it makes more sense if you do the whole thing. So هل من خالق غير الله يرزقكم.
Are you not created from something other than?
So خالق is the
Sorry.
اسم الفاعل, right? So
Yeah.
خلق, to create, خالق,
Yeah. The creator.
creator.
Yeah.
So هل من خالق, basically, is there any creator?
Is there any creator other than
غير الله يرزقكم من السماء والأرض.
يرزقكم? I don't know.
رزق.
Rizq. Okay.
So
Was it
to sustain,
يرزقكم?
yeah, to provide
Yeah.
sustenance for, yeah.
Yeah. What was it? يرزقكم.
من
The rest of it?
السماء والأرض.
I'll show you translate that. Sustenance from the heavens and the earth.
Yeah, so هل من خالق غير الله. Is there any creator except for Allah? يرزقكم, who sustains you or provides sustenance to you من السماء والأرض, from the skies and the earth, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but when I recite it, that's the majority of that. I'm assuming you understand it like passively, right?
Yeah.
But there's now, he said, لا إله إلا هو.
Yeah. There's none other than he. Yeah.
Other than he. فأنا تؤفكون.
No.
So فأنا, I've never actively heard that word in my life. As in, like, I have heard this verse many times, but I never thought what is فأنا. And تؤفكون, maybe you don't know that one, right?
No.
Okay, so if I look it up, just one second. So what are the root letters, do you think, for تؤفكون? Out of interest.
Maybe Ain. Ain.
So it's تؤفكون, like with a hamza.
the Hamza. So so Hamza is either waw or ya,
So it's
and
Hamza,
then Hamza, then fa, and then is it kha or kha?
kaf, kaf. Okay,
Kaf,
so
kaf.
this is I'm just going off of like this is what the process that I did today. Okay, so I heard that one, so I understood. يا أيها الناس اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم هل من خالق غير الله يرزقكم من السماء والأرض لا إله إلا هو فأنا تؤفكون. So I understand everything except for فأنا, and I'm
Mm,
تؤفكون, I'm not sure. But it's like there is no God except for him.
mm,
So something, something, right?
yeah.
So then I typed in the Hamza and the Fa and the Kaf, and I found ifkun. Where is ifkun? Here. Yeah.
Okay.
So ifk. Okay, so this actually comes in the Quran more than once. Yeah, I just can't remember off the top of my head. We may have to search for it, if that makes sense,
Mm,
yeah, to find the word
mm,
ifkun. But I'm sure I've heard the word ifkun. This is tu'fakun.
mm.
Yes. So how are you? Basically, I think it's translated. We'll look at it now. How are you deluded? So how then are you in such falsehood or something like this?
Okay, all
Like
right.
based off of those root letters. But the question is, what does fa'anna mean? Have you ever heard that or actively heard that before?
Mm,
So I then looked that up, and then it was like super interesting. But then with this process that I'm saying now is what will lead me to not forget this. Does that make
okay.
sense? If this was given to me uh in a book, as in like it was a pre-recorded answer, as in like, oh, when you do Medina, it's like, okay,
Mhm.
here's a new
Yeah,
lesson for
yeah,
Anna, that's how, or Anna, that's how it
yeah,
works, and I'll
yeah.
forget it. But because I'm doing this process
Mm,
of actually actively be like, what is that? Like, and then I'm looking it up. But the more you do Arabic, the rest of the ayah you will understand, right? But there
yeah.
will be many words in the Quran that are legislative words that we won't hear that often. So of course you have to search those words up, and there's going to be large chapters that you won't understand. But then there's a huge percentage you will understand, like La ilaha illa huwa,
Mm,
or يا أيها الناس اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم هل من خالق غير الله يرزقكم من السماء والأرض. Like this stuff, when you hear that in
mhm,
the Quran, you shouldn't. There's no need to translate the more you practice, right?
mhm,
Or at least that's my opinion. So, however, so we looked for anna. So it gives three meanings. Yeah. So the first is said min aina. The second one is kaifa, and the third one is meta. So it's actually really cool.
mhm,
Like I've never heard this before, right? So then it comes in the verse with Zachariah. Um, I think it's Maryam. Ya Maryamu. I don't. So it may be the surah Maryam. Zachariah is
mm,
saying to him, Ya Maryamu. I think it's Anna laki hadha. Do you recall that verse?
no.
Yes. Undur. Oh, I don't know why this. I need a technical guy to explain to me why when I search uh, on my normal tab, it doesn't bring it up. I probably need to delete my cookies, right?
Mm.
So anna. So do you remember what the three meanings could be?
Is it where Aina,
Min
Kaifa, and
aina,
Mata?
min aina, and kayfa and
Yeah,
mata. So
yeah.
he's saying, Ya Maryamu, anna laki hadha. So what do you think that could mean? Either being
Uh,
min aina or kayfa or mata. Well, if we read it without the translation, see if we can find it.
hold on.
Um,
So
where did we find it? Go ahead. So I'm gonna hide the translation.
yeah.
Okay, let's just read up to. Okay, don't try not to read it. You might have already seen it. Yeah.
Okay.
So go read this part.
I can't see it.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so try not only read what I've highlighted, just
Okay.
for the test. Yeah.
I can see your Gemini.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
There. What
So her Lord.
in English?
Yeah, the English. Yeah.
Right, so her Lord accepted her graciously. and blessed her with a pleasant upbringing, entrusting her to the care of Zachariah. Whenever Zachariah visited her in the sanctuary, he found her supplied with provisions.
Yes. So he found her supplied with provisions. Yes.
Yeah.
And then he said to her, Qala, can you just read this book?
قال يا مريم أن لك هذا
قالت
فقالت هو من عند الله إن الله ي-
يرزق.
يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب.
I'm assuming you know what hisab is, right?
Yeah, I get confused sometimes. Hisab, like punishment or
Okay, so
we're all, I know
without
a
this,
good
like without account. Yeah, without
okay.
measure, right?
Yeah,
So he was she every time he found her, she had provisions with her or food, right? So he said, قال يا مريم أنى لك هذا. And of the meanings that we looked at, it could mean min aina
yeah,
or kaifa or meta. So it's not meta, right?
no,
So it probably is from some probably min aina, as in like kaifa, like kaifa hasalti ala hada.
mm,
Like how did you get this? Where did this come from? Right?
mm,
So that meaning قال يا مريم
mm.
أنى لك هذا. How did you get this? Yes, how where did this come from? Either
Is
one
there a
of those.
question mark? Is there a question mark in
Yeah,
there?
yeah, it's a question. أنى is a question. So look, when he said فأنى تؤفكون, how then are you all deluded?
oh,
And when I spoke to Ustad Mahir, he said normally this is a very like people don't use this. You won't hear this often.
mm,
But anna is so if for example he was saying that normally it would be used probably not in this context, but you would use it if you are asking a question because you're trying to almost reprimand someone in a way, like in terms of maybe not in this context, but he said that it can be used. You know, like when your kid does something, you're just like, why did you do that? You're not actually
mm,
asking an explanation. You're trying to teach
mhm,
him, trying to tell him that that was a dumb thing to do, right?
mhm,
So like
yeah,
you're like, why are you doing that? I don't want him to explain it. I just want him to stop doing it, right?
mm,
So that's another level of potential meaning, right?
yeah.
Anyway, so she said, "Qala huwa min indillah," right?
Mm.
How does that translate to you?
She said, it is from Allah.
Yeah, or
Alhamdulillah.
provided by Allah, basically.
Oh yeah, private Allah, yeah.
Yes. Inna Allah yarzuqu. So the same verse as we just
Yeah.
looked at before.
Indeed,
Same word.
Allah is provided whatever mm,
Man yasha. This is man yasha,
whoever
right?
provides for whoever
Yes.
provides whoever
So
provides
here it is.
whoever to whom
To
he
whom he wills.
Yasha who wills without measure. Okay.
Yes, right? So he said, he exclaimed, yeah. Ya Maryam, anna laki hadha, right? So the anna, again, like this is one of those that you're not gonna know the meaning just by studying Ben Yaddik. Maybe I
Mm,
don't from my account, I don't remember in Medina or Ben Yaddik like this being a very prominent thing. So when you hear it, you won't understand it. So you then have to do a little bit of like looking into it and then things click. So for me, I'm not gonna forget this. Because you
neither
were
will I
asking
now.
you know what I mean? Say again?
Yeah. Okay. No, neither will I then.
Right? Because so
Yeah.
this little process is like a trick. So I'm okay. I'm not trying to come up with like tips and tricks, but well, because you asked me a question before, so I'll try and get to that. But I always think about this idea like, okay, how come if I tell you what my son's name is, and then I ask you a month from now what my son's name is, you probably won't remember. Like some people
Mm,
might, but like I'm not good with names. I forget names. But
mm,
then when I name my own son, like I don't go through this process of like writing his name down, like, oh, my son's
mm,
name is this, my son's name is this. Somehow your brain is just allocating
mm,
more importance to that passively, right? It's very rare that you would name your born child with a name and forget that name. Like someone
mm,
asks you, like, even if you've never even you said it once in your life, right? It's very
mm.
unlikely you're going to forget that. But so your neighbor's kid, same exposure in terms of amounts, right? But for some reason you don't remember his name. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there's to me there's something in the brain where you need to like try and find the processes that help the brain remember things that's not just this like repeat many times. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So to me, this process is better than if I said فَأَنَّ or anna means, it could be
Mhm.
so anna from where, how, or when. Okay, anna, and I just imagine I just said that 100 times. Like that to me is
Mm.
not that useful. But this process, what I've just showed you now, is more useful, and I doubt I'll ever forget it just from this one time because you've had that moment of like, what is that? A curiosity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is what I do when I'm. This is why I'm so big on learning to type because you listen to the audio. So for example, those ones that you've done with Beni Yadayk,
Mm.
I didn't just listen to them once and transcribe them and then translate them. I would then listen back to them many times, right? So I have them on my phone in a playlist, and then I would listen back through what I've already done. And every time I heard a word that I didn't know, I would just search it at the time because I already knew how to
Okay.
type it. So I knew what the word was, but I couldn't remember what it was in that context there. So then I would open my phone and I would just search it. I would see what it means. It clicks in my mind, and then I don't put any more effort into listening to it again, as into trying to memorize it. But if I like the word, then I'll try to use it. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So that's the process that I personally followed because to me it's the lowest effort, and then it's easy for me to do. Just load up an audio file and just put it on repeat and listen to it. And
Mhm.
every time I hear a word that's just not clicking, just search the word up and then don't see what it means. It clicks in your mind and then forget and then just move on with your life. Tomorrow you listen to the same audio. If you hear the same word, you don't understand it, you search it up again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's the process that I'm following. If you want to and you like, then I made some guides on how to use Memrise. Have you ever seen how to use it?
Uh,
This
mm,
platform before?
yeah, I've used it a few times. I usually use Anki. Um,
Do you do you know how to make your own?
yeah, yeah. I usually make my own Anki cards.
Yeah. So this one I like it because it makes you type. So
Yeah.
I don't think Anki makes you type,
You,
right? Or
it does. You can make it
oh,
type.
okay. You need to teach me how to use Anki because I could never figure it out. So
Yeah,
this
but
is, for example, my words.
mm,
It's literally just a list of random words. Like I heard the word phone, so I was like, what is
mhm,
that? I type in phone, I find out, and then I put it in here.
mm,
Um, I didn't. I mean, like I used it a bit, but this is not a lot.
mhm.
And right now, I just don't really bother with it. But this can help. Like I have used, in terms of my accounts, I've got like a lot of points. I've
Yeah,
got like
a
3 million
million.
points on this.
Yeah.
No, that's a million to my next. Yeah, so I have used it a lot, but I'm at the stage now where I don't even bother with it.
So
I
in the
pref
beginning,
yeah.
in the beginning, what's a good method to use?
Well, this is what I would do. This is what
Okay.
I did. So, but this is what I call like brute force
Mm,
memorization, is in like you're forcing your brain to memorize it. So then you also asked the question about the masdar.
mm,
So then you could do as for example, if I've done, when I made this course. So for me personally, I need to work on the masdar, but I don't pay much attention personally to the masdar. Okay,
mm.
because I found um okay, this is my hack, but I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. If you just know the present tense verb and you
Mm.
just only memorize that one, then you can basically do everything you need to do, pretty much. You can make almost any sentence work with only the present tense verb. So if I have to, because I'm playing a long game, I'm not trying to brute force memorize words. Does that make sense? So if I
Okay.
just need to remember one, I'll remember the present tense. Why do you think that is? I may have told you already.
No, they haven't. But because you can say you can use it. It's quite versatile because you can say like you can use now and you can use it past as well.
Yes. So if you think about like this is why. So if you want to, what you could do, let me just go back to my point, and then I'll get to this. Let's say here, I think I have verbs. Yeah. So if you want to, you could have like ذهب يذهب اذهب ذاهب مذهب or something like, like you could go through
Yeah.
and memorize it that way. I don't like doing this. I'd rather just get يجلس right? Only yajlisu, and but eventually the masdar you're gonna come across it at some, or when you hear it, you'll understand it most of the time, right?
Yeah.
You may not be able to use it as much, but if I only knew like let's just say if I only knew jalasa, you know, or yeah, then what can I do with that? I can say jalastu,
Yeah.
right? And I can
Okay.
say like
Lakad.
lam. Sorry,
Yeah. Yeah,
say
you
again.
could do, it will only be the past, won't it, though?
I can only say ma jalastu, right? But if
Yeah.
I know yajlisu, I can say lam ajlis or let's just say lam yajlis, right? So past tense
Mm,
negation. I can say I could make it past tense by saying kuntu ajlis,
mm,
or can let's just make it kana yajlisu,
mm,
right? So he used to sit. So I
yeah.
can make it past tense if I want to. I can say sa ajlisu or sa yajlisu.
Or you can say couple
Yeah.
adrusa
Yes,
before I
you can
studied.
make it past tense,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you can also say badattu.
Mm,
You can also say I began and then say like badattu adrusu. I began to
mm,
study, right? And then
yeah.
you can also say sa ajlisu. You can say sofa ajlisu, and then you can also say lan yajlisa. So he will not, you know.
Mm,
So there's loads of things you can do with this. So if I'm trying to play like the low effort game, then
mm,
I would look for the present tense verb and
mm,
then force that into any context I need. And then at some
mm.
point, I would naturally also come across the other ones, you know?
Okay. Okay.
If you
Okay,
want
that
to, though,
makes
you
sense.
can say jalasa, yajlisu, ijlis, you know, can go through all of that, but I don't want to
No,
do
so,
that.
yeah, I mean, I can remember the past and present, but um, doing a muster for all the form ones that I come across, because it's so varied. I need to have a continuous. I need to have a daily routine to go through all of them to remember it
Yeah,
because I'm not using it. I'm not using it
that's the
in real
point.
life.
And you know what the crazy thing is? That I actually did that only for one. And I think in the course that we're doing, the one
Mm,
verb I did, which was qafaza yakfizu ikfiz qafsun qafizun.
mm,
I actually think I made a mistake. I think when we did the class, I think I said I misremembered it.
mm,
That's only one verb. I sat there after every prayer for like 1 or 2 days, and for 100 times after each prayer, I said qafaza yakfizu ikfiz qafsun qafizun. I said that 100 times after each prayer. Only one verb with that, yeah. And then when I needed it, I misremembered it. So imagine now you take that one verb and you times it by 100 or 1,000. Like it's just
okay.
gonna be a mess, right? So I'm not,
And
but people do it and it does work for them, but not for me. I can't be bothered with it. I
so
don't have
yeah,
time.
was the non-form one verbs. I do it for one family, then I can apply it to the rest of it because it's fixed.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
easier.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. You said the words that you weren't familiar with, or it piqued an interest in you, and so you used it.
Yes.
How did you use it? As in, did you use it with someone, or did you use it to yourself?
Okay,
I mean,
so yeah, I would try and use it. So for example, I just said anna.
mm,
So I would try keep just that one thing in my mind and try to
mm,
use it a couple of times. So for example, someone says something funny, even to my kid, if they don't, I see them like I was thinking that what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna say like, yeah, yeah, let's say you said something funny or you came with a
mm,
something weird. I'll be like, yeah, Nazim, مثلا أن لك هذه الفكرة أن لك هذه الفكرة. So like,
mm,
where did you get this idea from? That's basically what you would mean, right?
mm.
So if I just use that a couple of times, I would remember that word, right? So
You'll use it to with someone.
yeah, I would try to. I mean, like, or if not, I would just say it to my kids or just.
Oh,
But the thing is, for me, it's about like, it's not. I wouldn't do this with 15 words a day, which is what most
okay.
people would say. So I would take this one idea. This one idea, I don't think I'll ever forget it. But to really make it stick, I just want to use it. Just every now and
That
then,
makes
even in a funny context, you know, where it would amuse me. That would be
it
even
makes
better.
sense. What do you do for people who don't have someone to use it to
Yeah, just
another.
say it to yourself or just say it to, because my kids don't understand Arabic. I'm trying to teach them
Mm,
Arabic. So I just speak Arabic to them. And a lot of the times I'm making mistakes. I'm like, how would I even say that? And then I'm trying to do it. So you can just use it in, but try to put it in a context. What I don't like is when they say take a word and just put it in a sentence. No. Like as in like I came up with this idea of saying, okay, ya Nazim, anna laka hadhihi al-fikra.
mm,
Yeah. Where'd you get this idea from? So I'm gonna try to make that happen somehow. Like even just I'm just waiting for that moment to use that because it would be funny to
mhm,
me. Or if
mhm,
if it's not that one, then a different you just change it and make it different. But try to think, how can I use anna, meaning either kaifa or min aina,
mhm,
or mata, in a sentence in a real context, so then somehow it sticks better like that. So, but then sometimes, I was just listening to one of the students. He recited a verse, and I said, "Mashallah, hada jamil." And
mm,
then after that, I thought I could have said, "Mashallah, tilawatun jamilatun." I keep
mhm,
thinking, like, what could I have said? And then I said, you know what, even better. I should have said, "Ya laha min tilawatin jamilatin." You remember how we learned that phrase where you say "Ya lahu min," like, "Oh,
mm.
what a." Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
So we came across. I remember you asked me about it. You're like, I don't. Why is that so special? Why do you like that?
Oh, from
So you say,
Flona, from
yeah. She
Flona.
said,
Yeah, Tara,
مثلا,
yeah, yeah, Tara. I wonder. I
no,
want.
"Ya tura" is I
Yeah,
wonder,
Tara.
but
Yeah.
she sees a stamp and she says, "Ya lahu min tabiqin jamil." Oh, what a beautiful stamp! And then
Mm.
the overweight guy, he says to the doctor, "Ya laka min rajulin
Oh.
qasin." Oh, what a cruel man you are! So then I thought I should have said, to help remember, I should have said, "Ya laha min tilawatin jamilatin." Oh, what a beautiful recitation! That would have been better than just saying, "Mashallah, hada jamil."
Mm.
So just trying to take these little things and use them. But if you're listening to the language a lot, and then you just take out these little gems and just do one a day. Don't you don't have to. I'd rather remember one phrase or one word a day, and at the end of the year I have 365, but I actually know them. Does that make sense? Then try to do like 10, 20, 30 a day. Because people do that. Like sometimes I've had students and they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna remember, like, I'm just gonna memorize like 20 words a day. And then at the end of the year, I'll know this many words. I'm like, yeah, let me know how that goes. Like, I would be really interested if you would remember any of that stuff, because at least from my perspective, like maybe it could work. If it works, then it's great. It's if you can memorize 20 words a day and not forget them just by repeating them on a list, I mean, like, that's amazing. But I would be surprised if you could actually use any of those words in a sentence. So I'd
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
take like
That's the thing.
one.
That's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm doing like 20 verbs or nouns in a week, and whilst I can read it and um read it sort of there and then, I can't use it outside of that, you know, exercise. It's difficult to use
Yeah.
it outside exercise.
So for me, it's about like the effort versus the return on investment. Like how much time are you spending doing that, and how much effort does it cost, and then are you actually really getting a lot out of it? If you are, because everyone's different, right? So if a person can remember 20 words a day, I mean, like they actually memorize it, and after a year, they've memorized 365 times 20. I mean, that's incredible. You should keep doing that. But for me, I can't. Like it's just a waste of time. Because when I was doing it with Medina book, on book three, they give you like 50 verbs and they're all like on the same pattern.
Mm,
And I was using the flashcard and I was just like, I can't differentiate. It's just letters mixed up. It's just
yeah.
all the same to me. I don't. So for me, I just try to do exactly what I just heard. I've been listening to the Quran and I just heard a word and I'm like, what is that? Try to find a word that's interesting to you, or it's like there's a gap in your understanding here. So you just do a bit of research on that and then try to use it, you know? And if you
Okay.
did one a day, that would 365 a year, it's a lot, you know? Even though it's not it's not 5,000, but if you had actually memorized them, as we said, like this anna, you probably won't forget it, right?
No,
Because
no, definitely.
and again, like ya lahu min, okay, I explained it to you once and I just did it. We just did that process again, right? So you're less likely to forget it. But then if you forget it again and then you hear it somewhere else and you're like, that peaks like something about that. Like I feel like I heard something about that. You look it up on ChatGPT or whatever, and it explains ya lahu min or ya laha min or ya laka min, and you're like, oh, it means oh what a, right? Then you probably won't forget it after the third or fourth time you do that process. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Yeah.
So I'm not saying this is the right way to do it. I'm just telling you that's what I do. Right now,
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
don't really bother with trying to remember words. But um especially like nouns where it's like cucumber, tomato, potato, flour, sugar, you know, like I just try to actually use them in context and then I play inshallah we're gonna do more like where we play the games and we actually like go around and try to actually say on the fly like what these are and like use them in sentences and stuff like that.
Mm,
That to me helps me remember more. But as I said, it's more important that you remember like from this topic, if you don't remember how to say a tray of eggs, that's not that important. But we should be practicing enough so that you remember how to say ana uridu an ashtariya. You
mm,
should be able to say become hada. You know, these core phrases that are important, but like
yeah.
tray of eggs or a kilo of flour, it's
Mm,
less important than
yeah.
I would like to buy or where is the, you know?
Yeah. That makes
So
sense.
that's at least my process. Like I'm trying to because there are some courses out there that basically say like we give you a list of words and you have to memorize those words.
Yeah.
But I've not asked you guys to do any of that, right? I've just like you turn up to the lesson and we practice and I ask you questions and then you need to try and use these in sentences and then we play games or like watch cartoons or watch a video where the language is actually being used in a live context. And to me, you're more likely to actually remember, even if you're exposed to the word 10 times, but using this method than if you're exposed to it 100 times, but it was just on a list with 20 other words. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Does that answer your question or does that just make it more
It does.
confusing?
Yeah. It does. It's just what I'm doing at the moment is I got a long list of words. I'm trying to remember them. Like I'm talking about hundreds, and I've realized it's not working.
I don't even I don't even bother. I think the typing thing that you're going down the route of is way more it's way better. You find videos that you like, you listen to the videos many, many, many times and or watch cartoons, watch TV series, whatever it is, and you've learned the skill through the homework that we've been doing to hear the word and type it and you just listen to the Arabic being used many, many times. Every time you find a word that you don't know, just take your phone out and just search it.
Yeah.
It fills in the blank and then don't think about it after that. Does that make sense? Don't think about it after
Yeah.
that. Listen to it again tomorrow. The same word comes up, you forgot it, fill in the blank. Okay? Do that and then move on to another video, and then maybe come back after a week or two and listen to that same video again. Maybe the same word comes up again and you just fill in that blank. And if you do that 5 times, you will know what that word means in that context. You won't. It's not a large effort thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's yeah.
So that's what I do. But as an adult, it's important for you to experiment with these things and find out what works for you. Because it's not like school where they just give you the method and they just hit you on the head with the book and they just say, "This is the method, do this." I'm explaining trial and error. Does that make sense? Like everyone's different, so you have to experiment with these things and say like, "This works, this doesn't work." I have met people that are like, "Yeah, I put the word and I say ذهب, يذهب, اذهب, ذاهب, whatever." Like they go through this and they're like, "Yeah, that is great. I love it." So who am I to say that's not good, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to
Yeah.
show you this margin note thing?
Yeah.
Or we can do
Yeah.
it another time if you're busy.
Yeah. Yeah. I've tried working up. How long does this take? This margin out?
We can do it another time. It's not a big deal.
Oh, okay. Maybe yeah, when you're next free.
All right, cool. Take a chapter, yes, like where's my Quran? You know, Surah Al-Jathiyah,
No,
Surah number
but yeah,
45. Yeah.
yeah.
Take this chapter
Mm,
and listen to it like
yeah.
on repeat, and it's quite easy, the majority of it. So I reckon, you know, even if you want, read the English translation along with it a couple of times, but listen to this chapter on repeat. It's not long. It's like 3 pages, right? So you listen to it on repeat, find a nice recitation, and try to see how much of it you can grasp, because it's like 3 pages, so it's like 10-minute recitation, but
Mm,
there's many words that you will know. Um, so that being the case, then try to do this process where you read along with it and you try to fill in the blanks as you're listening to it. So you're like, okay, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, you know, إن في السماوات والأرض لآية للمؤمنين, right? So you try to fill in the blanks now. Do you understand the whole verse?
yeah, but I do now. I wouldn't have understood it before I started the class with you, but I understand it now.
Okay, so now the question is, what is the lam? It says la'ayatin. What is that lam? Do you know what it's called?
Okay. Mm, there
Something
isn't.
very
There is.
interesting.
One second. There is in the heavens and earth a sign for the believer, but mm,
Okay, I will show you
is
from
it?
Al Qira'at Al Rashida. Go on. There's something very similar. Go on, carry on.
Um, Nothing. Isn't.
Look,
I don't know.
the same thing here. Okay, he says, فَلِمَاذَا يَخْجَلُ. Let's read the whole context, yeah? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. لأني, because I. Tell me what you don't
Mm,
understand from here, yeah? So
mm,
يخجل is to be like shy from, yeah? So he says
mm,
لأني أرى الناس لا يخجلون من الأكل, from food, yeah? إذا جاعوا, when they're
mm,
hungry. So this إذا is when, right? واللعب, and play إذا أرادوا. فلماذا, this is لماذا, not لماذا, yeah.
mm,
فلماذا يخجل من الصلاة وإن الصلاة لفريضة وإن الصلاة لشرف للمسلم. Okay, so you can see here we have inna and then you have the lam.
mm,
Yes? So this lam is called lam al-muzahlaqa. Zahlaqa, I think, yeah? And it's an emphasizing lam that can be basically put on the khabar, on the khabar inna. Yeah, so it
yeah.
normally comes like in this case when you have inna. This is maybe not the best explanation, but
Mm-hmm.
this is how it works, right? So when you have inna at the start and then you want to add extra emphasis, you can put basically on the khabar inna, and I think it can be used without inna being in the sentence, but this
Mm,
lam comes basically on the you know, like right here on the khabar. So you're saying inna fis samawati, but it's basically almost switch round. It may be on you know, the ismu inna in a way where it's like
mm,
inna la'ayatin lil mu'minin fis samawati wal ard. I can't remember exactly the way it works, but basically this lam is extra emphasis, right? So how did I learn that? By doing this, by this
okay.
exact thing. So I'm going through, just try with this chapter because you're
Mm-hmm.
looking
Okay.
more Quran understanding, right? So what I was gonna say
Yeah.
is listen to like a podcast and try to pick up words, but try this instead, which is Surah Al-Jathiyah.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to it on repeat every day, constantly. Every time you hear a word that you're not sure, you know, affakin, like what is affakin? Wailul likulli affakin athim. So you search it up independently yourself. Look it up in the dictionary, try to fill in that blank, and
Mm-hmm.
that process is more likely going to stick than if I just give you a word of like 100 common
Yeah.
words in
Yeah.
the Quran that happen a lot, you know?
Okay. All right. Inshallah, I'll try that.
وَتِلْكَ آيَاتُ اللَّهِ نَتْلُوهَا عَلَيْكَ بِالْحَقِّ. So these are very easy verses. I reckon the majority of this surah, you would understand it. So try first with, don't read anything, don't watch the translation, do nothing,
Mm-hmm.
only listen to it
Mm-hmm.
for like a couple of days, and then check out the translation at the same time, and then go back to listening. but do the process where when you hear a word or you hear a specific ayah or whatever, you're like, what is that word? Like there's a blank there that, it could be the critical word that you don't know in order to pick up the whole verse, right?
Yeah.
For example, if you knew inna fis samawati wal ardi
Mm.
something lil mu'minin, then the la ayatin is the word you need to be looking up for that. You need to be searching like,
Mhm.
okay, what's this? And then filling in that blank and then listen to it again. And if you hear it again tomorrow and you still don't remember it, do it again. Look up that one word again. You
Mhm.
know, this is what I do. This is much better for me. But it takes work, but it's also kind of fun.
Yeah,
You
it is,
start
yeah.
filling in pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, that makes us sort of more interesting than memorizing list.
Yeah, that's why when we started this course, I've made you guys a flashcard thing. I was like, use it or don't use it. I don't really care because I don't think it's really going to be that useful anyway. For especially for the time you invested. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
rather send you that video of Kasu doing shopping. I'd rather you listen to that for hours and hours and hours and hours than use a flashcard app for hours and hours and hours. But
Yeah.
you, as an adult, you do have to figure this out on your own. At the end of the day, this is what's working for me. I like it. I'm relaxed. I'm not stressed about it. It's fun. It's interesting. I like creating questions and then trying to find out the answer on my own. And that process helps me remember. But you might find that you have a different technique that works better for you, right?
Mhm. No, no. Yeah, I haven't tried this before. I'll give it a go.
All right, sweet. Inshallah, I'll speak to you
Cool.
soon. Inshallah.
Yeah, Jazakallah. Thank you
Assalamu
very much.
alaikum.
Thank you.